Good morning, students. So this is our chapter Biomolecules, Unit 3rd. In Unit 3rd, we have already done the chapter Cell, the Unit of Life and Cell Division. Biomolecule is left and that I am taking today. So biomolecule chapter, what does it mean? There is a wide variety of living organism in our biosphere. Now a question that arises in our mind that all our living organisms are made up of same chemicals, that is elements and compounds. So you all are doing in chemistry elemental analysis you are doing. So if we perform such an analysis on plant tissue, animal tissue or a microbial paste, we will obtain a list of elements like carbon, hydrogen, oxygen and several others and their respective content per unit mass of a living tissue. If same analysis is done on the piece of Earth's crust, that is an example of non-living matter, so we obtain also a similar list. So what are the differences between these two lists? In absolute terms, there is no difference, but all elements present in a sample of Earth crust are also present in a sample of living tissue. However, a closer examination reveals that relative abundance of carbon and hydrogen with respect to other element is higher in any living organism than in the Earth's crust. It means that in living organism, carbon and hydrogen is present in more amount. So this is the chapter which includes primary and secondary metabolites and biomacromolecules, proteins, polysaccharides and nucleic acids, and what is the structure of primary protein, secondary, tertiary and quaternary, and nature of bond linking monomers in a polymer, and we will be studying metabolic basis of living organisms and about the enzymes and how the reactivity of enzymes takes place in our body. What type of organic compounds are found in living organisms? To get the answer of this, we will be performing this chemical analysis. We can take any living tissue, a vegetable or a piece of liver, and grind it in trichloroacetic acid. Using a mortar and a pestle, we obtain a thick slurry. If we were to stain this through a cheesecloth or cotton, would obtain two fractions. One is called filtrate, that is more technically that will be called the acid soluble pool, and the second is retinate, that is called acid insoluble fractions. So scientists have found thousands of organic compounds in the acid soluble pool. Analytical techniques, when applied to the compound, give us an idea of molecular formula and the probable structure of the compound. All the carbon compounds that we get from living tissues can be called biomolecules. However, living organisms have also got inorganic elements and compounds in them. How do we know this? A slight different but destructive experiment has to be done. One weighs a small amount of living tissue. We can take leaf, liver, and it's called wet weight and dry it. All the water evaporates. The remaining material gives dry weight. Now, if the tissue is fully burnt, all the carbon dioxide carbon compounds are oxidized to gaseous form, that is carbon dioxide evaporates out, water also evaporates and these are removed. So what is remained, that is called ash. This is called ash analysis. So the ash contains inorganic elements like calcium, magnesium, sodium and potassium, etc. Inorganic compounds like sulfate, phosphate are also seen the acid soluble fraction. So from a chemistry point of view, one can identify functional groups like aldehyde, ketones, aromatic compounds, etc. But from a biological point of view, we can classify them into amino acids, nucleotides, bases, fatty acids, that's micromolecules and macromolecules. In this slide, you can see micromolecules and macromolecules. Micromolecules are those which are having molecular weight less than 1000 Daltons, and macromolecules are having molecular weight more than 1000 Daltons. So in micromolecules, amino acids, sugars, nucleic acids, lipids are there, whereas in macromolecules, polysaccharide, nucleic acids and proteins are there. So we have studied about two types of fractions. One is acid soluble pool and what is acid insoluble pool. The acid soluble pool represents roughly the cytoplasmic composition. The macromolecules from cytoplasm and organelles become the acid insoluble fraction. So here you must see that the acid insoluble fraction has four types of organic compounds. In the previous slide I have told you these are proteins, nucleic acid and polysaccharides, but lipids are also there. So lipids are why they are present, because lipids they are having molecular weight less than 8,000 Dalton, come under acid insoluble fraction. Why? Because lipids are indeed small molecular weight compounds and are present not only as such but as arranged into structures like cell membrane and other membranes also. So when we grind a tissue, we are disrupting the cell structure, cell membrane and other membranes are broken into pieces and form vesicles, and they are not water soluble. So they come under come with the macromolecules, acid insoluble fractions. Amino acids are organic compounds containing one amino group and an acidic group as substituents on the same carbon, that is alpha carbon. Hence they are called alpha amino acids. They are substituted methanes. They are having four substituent groups occupying the four valency positions. These are hydrogen, carboxylic group, amino group and the variable group designated as R group. So based on nature of R group, there are many amino acids. However, those which occur in proteins are only of 20 types. So the R group in these proteinaceous amino acid could be a hydrogen, just like I'm telling you in the next slide, the amino acid is called glycine. If a methyl group is present, then it's called alanine. And if hydroxy methyl group is present, then it's called serine. It's in NCERT on page number 145. You can do the diagrams from there. Three of the 20 I have told you, and these are given on the page number 145. The chemical and physical properties of amino acids are essentially of amino, carboxyl and the R functional groups. Based on the number of amino and carboxylic group, they are acidic, just like you can see here, glutamic acid having two carboxylic groups there, and if it's just like valine, it's neutral, one amine group and one carboxylic acid group. The example is alanine, valine are there, and if it is having two amino group, then it is called lysine, as you can see in the diagram. This is the example of aromatic amino acid, phenylalanine. So more examples are there, tyrosine and tryptophan. A particular property of amino acid is the ionizable nature of amino and carboxylic group. Hence, in solution of different pHs, the structure of amino acids changes.